Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, new bowies from auxiliary manufacturing and off-grid knives. We're going to give away this super cool Artisan Tomahawk. And then I want to talk about how you travel with knives. I went on an international trip recently. It was a nice family trip, and I could not bring any locking folders. I did my research before I left, and I brought only non-locking folders under 3 inches, and that's what worked for me, and that's what was legal. And it was fun having that sort of limitation. No fixed blades, obviously. I did have a little improvised weapon on me at all times. This is about a 2-ounce uh, plumbing nut on a small length of paracord, and you can get amazing damage out of this. So I kept one of those in my pocket, but generally traveling light, and it felt good. Fernando Salome, good to have you here, sir. Hello. Hello, Knife Junkies. Miss you all. Well, we miss you too, man. It's good to have you here and your pooch too. Ed Saul, nice to see you here. Hey. Survived Thanksgiving, missed you all, and loving the new knife videos. Right on. Good to have you here, Ed. Byron, nice to have you. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Now that you are back, your knife is going out tomorrow, along with a little something for a little someone. We'll get into that possibly later. Byron says, howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Last night in Arizona before driving home. Need some Thursday night knives. That sounds fun, man. I love driving cross country. Auf Wiedersehen, Bob and Junkies. Happy Thursday night knives, says Dave, this old sword. Dave, a pleasure to have you here with us, sir. We will be giving away a knife that Dave so graciously gave the channel. It's a really cool one. To me, it's a swashbuckler. To me, this knife, very useful, but also there's a bit of fantasy, if you will. And I really like this sort of a swashbuckling knife, 4 inches long, Artisan, that's D2, fully flat ground, or no, just flat ground, and a really cool cleaver blade. This thing is called the Tomahawk. Okay, Blade Ogre, nice to have you here, sir. Hello, all, he says. Well, hello to you, sir. Never Enough Knives 007. Happy Thursday, Junkies. Well, happy Thursday to you. It's the start of the weekend. Never Enough Knives. So it's great to have you here with us. Craig Vincent, what's up, Junkers? Well, Craig, what's up with you? Let me tell you this. I've just been carrying my new Terzuola designed, hey, 5-door, nice to have you. Greetings all, he says. Tamashii, I think it's called. Northern Knives, nice to have you here with us. Hello, Bob, Jim, and all the Junkies. Wait, while we have Northern Knives with us, I happen to have something very special here that we did an unboxing of, and a full loving close-up video. This is given to us from Northern Knives, this beautiful Malibu reverse Tonto, amazing ProTech. This is the first time I've really had a chance to spend any time with a Malibu, and I haven't spent much time. Don't get your panties in a bunch because you just could be the winner. So I haven't done much with this, but man alive, is it smooth. This is a really, really, what's a good word? Preeminent, maybe, I don't know. It's a really, really excellent flipper button lock, and we're going to give this away courtesy of Northern Knives up in Alaska, and a great bunch of guys up there. And I am loving this knife, and I will happily pass it along, but it definitely gives me pause for perhaps a future purchase. I think they should do a lot more of these button locks. I know they're great at the button locks with all the automatics they make, but these sort of non-automatic button locks they're doing are awesome. So more. Speaking of more, James Moore, how you doing, sir? Hello, Bob and Jim and all you knife fans. I just got off work and I'm ready to hear and talk about knives. Man, that's what we do. That's what we do. So those that we love don't have to suffer. So let's talk away. Again, Northern Knives, thank you so much for this. We're going to figure out when we're going to give this away. But before we do, we'll build a little bit of hype with with a close up. I need to get a close up video of this. It is a spectacular knife. Craig Vincent says, "No, Bob, the knife is a tool. You are the swashbuckler." That's a good point. Um, Speaking of swashbuckling, as I was saying, this knife, this big Tamashi, not big, but it's got a longer handle than I usually carry to EDC. Carries really nice appendix. I carried it all day yesterday. I've been carrying it around in my bag. I really like this thing. It's a beautiful knife. Uh, but yeah, I just decided to pop it in the waistband, and it carries great. Kept McNussart, nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, he says. Look at that green micarta next to the black blade. It's so nice. Ryan Vest, good to have you here, Ryan. Hey, everybody, he says. Well, hey, right back to you, sir. Happy Haptics EDC. Yo, there was a TNT last night, and I missed it, or it didn't happen. Wait, hang on. I'm gonna get through this. Sorry, guys. Was there a TNT last week that I missed, or did it happen? No, there was no Thursday Night Knives last week. I was in Germany, and I was I didn't say too much about going away to Germany, but I'm really happy to show off what I carried there, because it was kind of cool not being able to carry my usual loadout and to just rely on the basics like our grandfathers did. Just a slip joint in the pocket. Just felt like a man of the people, not some high-end knife collector. Pete Davidson, good to have you here, sir. Good day, junkies. Just finished catering for 80 people. Left my kitchen knives at home. Oh, lucky I had the police. Oh, 4, very nice, in K390, which means it's going to patina up very nicely. Thanks, Sal and Eric, for the length. Very cool. Well, Pete, man, I'd love to know what you were cooking tonight. Let me know what the main course was. I love eating, but who doesn't? Ryan Vest says, enjoying my new micarta Crewwear PM2. Very, very nice. Crewwear is awesome. I have one Crewwear knife. Pedro Armstrong, howdy. He says, well, hello, Pedro. Or I should say, howdy, Pedro. And happy to have you here. That said, let us do this. Let us get to a pocket check. I've been sort of ignoring my premium knives for a while because I've been getting other knives either sent to me or just my interest. I've been buying knives here and there, and really into carrying them. For instance, the Kaiser Mystic I have been carrying a lot of, and other knives. And today I felt like going back to the basics. That sounds so corny and stupid and a little bit privileged, but I this is an older knife for me, and I'll always have it. That was reground by Josh at Razor Edge Cutlery, and that's an aftermarket maroon um, pocketed canvas handle scale that was once impregnated with pork fat, and the whole thing was a deep red. But over time, having it in the pocket has drawn some of that out of there. This is just such a great knife, especially with that regrind, because it is one of the sharpest, sliciest, thin, yet stoutly tipped knives I have. So great one to carry. And this is definitely, what do you call it? Gen 3. Like, look at this detent. It's not a flipper. You can load up and make it flip out, definitely. And you can also flip it out with the thumb studs, but kind of not ideal for either, I gotta say. But still a great knife, and I love Hinderers. And I gotta say, I'm not exactly sure that my Triway is a better knife. It actually hurts more to deploy, that pointy flipper tab. First world problems. Okay, next up, in my front right, also nestled next to the folding knife, because I've been carrying my phone in my front left pocket, is this. I've been carrying this. I brought this to Germany with me, and except I didn't have a nice. I didn't have a premium knife with me. I didn't want to lose it, just in case. So I had all sort of high value knives with me. But today I've been carrying this. This is a Coego little tiny fountain pen. It's really nice. It uses the standard Coego cartridges. I have another little fountain pen by them that's really awesome. That that's a finicky thread there, but see that? Look at that tiny little fountain pen. It doesn't leak and explode all over the place. It's really nice. This is the other one by them. This is also really nice and quite robust. I love fountain pens. Prefer them, especially if they don't. If you can carry them around, bang them around, and not worry about them getting ink everywhere. Like my Lamy Safari, a $20 pen. It's a great fountain pen just to carry around. Anyway, had my my little Olight in here, and then the pocket knife today, the slip joint today was the Jack Wolf Knives laid back jack, that beautiful sway back with the hand rub finish and the rosewood handle scales or handle covers there, and the nice big Barlow bolster with the triple fluting and just the amazing action. I'm going to open this in front of the microphone because it's got such incredible walk and talk. It's like, this is a solid 8. If we're gonna nerd out about the number, this is a nice solid 8. I love Jack Wolf Knives stout pull. I think that I love that. I just love that. Okay, so that's what I had. That was my baguette cutter today. Also in my waistband, in appendix carry, was the Voodoo by Eric Kramer Custom Knives. Love this thing. Upswept. He calls it a Persian. I call it a clip point. But he should know he made it. But I had him double edge it, and I've seen a couple of other people on Instagram order it like that. To me, that's the full expression of this design. You have to have a secondary edge, and it's a sticky edge. I sharpen these both with I think 600 grit stones, and it's 154 cm, deeply hollow ground here. It's really thin, very sharp. And then up here, of course, it's a much more obtuse angle, but it's still also very sharp. So you're going to get really good contact cuts and pull cuts and tearing and gouging, that kind of stuff. So very, very nice knife. I love this. This would be a great utility knife, but I don't ever pull it out for that because it just kind of looks menacing, I would say. All right. Last up for emotional support, it was the Iridium. I love the Iridium, and it's got some pretty weak coating, I gotta say, on the blade though. This is only like several cardboard boxes, and that doesn't usually happen that quickly. It almost reminds me of the old school cold steel coating. It's like coming off real quickly, but I don't care. It kind of looks cool, and the knife is so good. This D2 blade just flies out. I think they really, really nailed the crossbar lock just as well as anyone else, and super smooth. So that was my emotional. Sorry, I think I might be coming down with something. That was my emotional support knife today. I also, just as a note, had this with me all day too. This is a case Stockman, large Stockman with the chrome vanadium or carbon steel blade. So this one's already starting to patina. I love Stockman, and I've always wanted a large case. And yeah, so that's what this is. Great. I got these blades all super sharp. That carbon steel takes a very nice edge. These are all hollow ground blades, and this one here, the Spay blade, is like a scalpel. And so I guess I see why this is for removing testicles. On this one, of course, it's a smaller one. I would rather do that job if I had to with a pocket knife. I'd rather do it with a trapper because the Spay blade is much longer. This one, unless it's a squirrel or something like that, raccoon, or a dog, maybe a small dog, you're going to be working. You're going to be working with that bull with this little spay blade. It's funny. All right, but really, really like this knife, and I'd love to see. I'd love to see. Sorry, the likes of Jack Wolf Knives do a multi-bladed knife. I know I've talked about that with him many times, especially a three-bladed knife like a Whittler or a Stockman, where you have to get the blades to nestle in together at angles. It's not like because you don't want to have three. This has three blades, but two springs. The two small blades share one spring, and then the big blade, the big clip point, is on its own. You don't want to have it three thick and then have big wells with the blades totally centered, in my opinion. And so I think it'd be cool to see a modern manufacturer do that. Anyway, that's what I had on me today. What did you have on you, Pete? Sliders, chicken wings. Oh, God, this sounds good. Strips of crispy pork belly, calamari. That's my thing. And prawn spring rolls. This sounds really, really good, man. That sounds delicious, especially the pork belly. Excuse me, the crispy pork belly sounds killer. Northern Knives says carried a Protec Mordax in Magna Cut. Now that one is another one, which I'm sure has this sort of crisp. I mean, it's so crisp. Listen, it's like it sounds like a diamond shattering. Carried a Protec Mordax in Magna Cut, Colorful Filth, Munko, and Northern Knives Scuba Chef. Ooh, that sounds cool. That's an exclusive with Paul Munko, designer of one of my favorite knives of the year. I love this thing. Spidey Chef collaboration. Oh, okay. I see. Bastinelli ice cream ice pick. I like the cut of your jib, sir. And tactile turn zirconium side click pen. I need to get a tactile turn pen. I don't have any of those bolt action pens like the rifles. I think they're pretty cool. Dave says, since I only fly with carry-on luggage, I'm always devoid of blades, but do carry either a tactical pen or a Volpe's third-hand resin pocket stick. Volpe's, he makes really, really cool trainers of all different sorts. And some of those trainers are actually pain compliance devices. And in the hands of someone highly trained like Dave, you would be complying. Have a nice day. Speaking of highly trained, nice to have you here with us. Good evening, Junkalos, he says. Good evening to you, sir. I'm having a dram of whiskey tonight because I feel a little scratch. And Jim's like, you have one every week. But not because I have a scratch in my throat. Tonight, 'tis medicinal. Razorback. Nice to have you here with us, Razorback. Ordered an RSK Mini, and they accidentally sent me a full-size Magna Cut in G Mascus. Happy mistake. Got that, the Deca, and a K-bar on my hip. Very nice, man. Which Deca, which blade? Northern Knives. How do you spell the maker of that awesome pen? Oh, this? Let's see. It's a German company, I believe, because I saw a Coeco store. Coeco, Kaweco, and you can get them on Amazon. I believe that's where I got this one and this little one right here. Yeah, you want to look classy. You want to be a little bit out of your time. Pull this out and write your note, whatever it happens to be, and say, and eschew the phone. Pete Davidson says, being a chef and a motorcyclist, my knives need to be stored as compact as possible. If it's not on my person, it's in a sheath wrapped in a towel and sits horizontal on my backpack or bag. That's pretty cool. I see you like riding around the city late at night, with a bag full of knives. Maybe you smell like whatever you've been cooking, or maybe you're on your way to do the cooking. But the knives and the motorcycle, I like that. Leon, nice to have you here, Leon. First time ever catching you live. Well, it's nice to have you here, man. Welcome. Greetings from Austria. Oh, so nice. The most knife-friendly country of Europe. Very cool. I have never been to Austria. My brother, one year got a scholarship to a school in Austria and spent a summer there in where was he? I guess he was in Vienna, and he loved it. So welcome. Thank you. It's great to have you here with us. Eugene Krabs, it is also great to have you here. And that K reminds me of something old timey, and I can't exactly figure out what it is, but it's like a book cover or something. I like it. Eugene Krabs says, got some notes on your hand? Yes, I do. Gift card and candy cane. I always have notes on my hand. I had to pick up candy canes and I had to pick up gift cards for the. Here, I'll show you. Just Jim had it, just so you can see. See that candy cane? Sometimes I illustrate. I do pictograms. You know. Dave says today's carry the MKM Terzuola TPF Defense Fixie. That is a very pretty knife. The Sencut Glide Strike. Which one is that? The Civivi Typheus convertible push dagger. Oh, that one. That's pretty cool. Then Ultim Madness, Kubi Bluff, Civivi Bull Tusk, and Civivi Vision FG, all with Ultim scales. Dave, man, you went Ultim nuts today. I think it's pretty cool. I kind of like the dirty yellow. That's kind of one of my colors. Dirk, nice to have you here, Dirk. Hey there, guys. Just checking in. The title intrigued me as I always travel with a few knives and watches. I generally take a small Pelican case from Nowpack. Okay, so do you check knife laws where you go? I happened to do it this time, and I'm glad I did. Dirk was carrying a custom Todd Fisher senior battle today. I saw a picture you posted of, I think, 4 of them, just one more beautiful than the other. Am I correct about that? 4 or 3 of them? Yeah, if you don't follow Dirk, you gotta go to Dirk Werning on Instagram. And not only does he have exquisite knives, custom knives, but also really nice watches too. And if you like watches, it's definitely someplace you'll like. Blade Ogre, Chris, good to have you here with us. Carrying the Microtech MSI, the Tactile Maverick, the Para 3 Crewwear. Okay, Para 3 Crewwear. Someone else mentioned that earlier, and now I can't remember who that is. The Queen USA Jumbo Trapper. That's a nice looking one. The Case Clasp Slip Joint, 60 out of 151. The GEC Hunter Fixed Blade. The Demco 80 20.5. Tonto in 3V. The GEC 06. That's a little tiny squirt. The GEC 62 Congress. And the Sleazy Ogre. Man alive. You're good to go there. I think it's weird, not weird. I think it's notable. 3 GECs and one of them is a fixie. That is not usual. Kep McNessart says, today I'm carrying a BPS Bushmate. BPS, that's that awesome father-son outfit out of Ukraine that makes really sharp, awesome bushcraft knives. BPS Bushmate, a 3V bailout, and a little bro jack. Which cover do you have? Which covers do you have on your little bro? I think I may have seen it. Is it this stunning Kieranite? This Kieranite is like outer space. 5 Door says, carried the XM18, the Ohio River Jack in duty slip. Very nice. Playing with the new Clydesdale tonight. What is that? The Clydesdale. Sounds big. Unless you actually got a Clydesdale. That would be that'd be something. Vic Nilla, nice to have you here, Vic. Kershaw Knockout, love that knife. And the Cold Steel Kyoto neck knife. I got a neck knife on me tonight. The Fred Perrin. This is one of those production Fred Perrin knives. Very, very cool. So thin, so sharp. This thing is a wicked little cutter. Ryan Vest says, tonight I have my Green Jungle Fat Carbon M4 PM2. That sounds really nice. Have a nice day. I got my first Chavez Knives 229 Redencion kickstop DP. What's DP? Small Black Micarta, ooh, at the California Custom Knife Show. Really enjoyed talking with them and establishing a relationship like the kickstop flipper. That Redención is such a beautiful, beautiful looking knife. Never Enough Knives 007 says, went for a hike today and brought my Bark River ultralight bushcrafter in 3V. Micro Spyderco Manix 2 XL, very nice, and Vic rucksack. That sounds awesome, man. Speaking of interesting knives, check this one out. Grim Reaper, good to have you here. Good evening, Bob and Knife Nuts. So 2 weeks ago, we had the great and powerful Zach Wingard of Wingard Wearables on the show, and he debuted his love handle knife. Please excuse the stuffy nose. Dirk says, and no, I never check knife laws. I carry what I want, and I want where I want. Nice. Well, that's awesome, man. I like that. That's a good attitude, especially well, I know you I follow you on Instagram. I see where you go. I think it's permissible for you to carry locking knives or where you've been going, and you're like, you don't know where I go. Grim Reaper says today carried the Spyderco Ronin 2, nice and simple. Look at this thing. This is not nice and simple. This is nasty and very curvy. Oh, he has the Kira Knight little bro. So this is the love handle, and this sheath, this is a very exotic design. And this sheath is meant to go kind of to nestle below the belly, hence the curve, and then lock in the waistband here. For me, this is too big for that scenario. It does not it fits it's a little too long for that. It fits kind of flat across my belly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start checking this out in earnest, and I'm going to rearrange these. I think that this will go really nicely in the waistband due to that curve, and then I'll be able to draw it in a reverse grip, which is what I kind of would prefer anyway. But excuse me, I'm really trying to get used to that curve. That curve is extreme, and I'm used to kind of when I do my a little practice with knives and stuff, I keep it in real tight, and I got to be careful with that knife that I'm not doing too much. Let me put it to you this way: I like this knife best, like this, turned around with the edge up, and use kind of a poking, thrusting motion like this, and then this sort of kind of the way the Army and the Marines in World War II were taught to like keep the edge up and dig in and pull up. That's what I'm thinking this is for me. Mark Salva says CRKT Spew and Stormtrooper Manix 2 in Rex 45, Civivi Typheus. Wait, I'm sorry, Jim, could you put that back up real quick? There was something I wanted to ask you. Oh, CRKT Spew. You don't hear much about that, but what a great, that's an Alan Foltz neck knife. Great Warncliffe design. That they sold that for years and years and years at your average run-of-the-mill Walmart. So there's got to be a million of them out there. You never hear people talk about them, so that's cool. I'm glad you were carrying that. Yep. Just a reminder, in a half an hour, if you put hashtag knife in the comments between now and 11 o'clock, you could win this. We're just doing a random giveaway of this very cool Artisan Tomahawk. I'm going to put this under the knife cam here. This was a gift from Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews, who takes incredible care of his knives. This is a beautifully contoured G10 handle there with the orange aluminum collar accents there. The proprietary pivot, very nice flipping action, very ergonomic and comfortable, and puts that really beautiful widening dowel sort of blade right out in front. And then, of course, incredible buttery soft action. I can do this with my left. This one we're going to give away in 1/2 of an hour. Jim is going to keep me honest with time, and that's hashtag knife, and we'll give that away. I'm going to put that right there so that I don't forget. So yeah, this Wingard wearables, I'm not so sure I can wear it the way it's intended to be worn, but I'm going to figure out a different way, and I think it'll be pretty cool. Mark Selva, thanks, Dave. He says, Mark's already won it in his mind, and I like that, man. That's a sign of a true winner. Already mine. He's like sending me his address. Craig Vincent, I love the spew. I have two spews. Sounds like the name of a knife maker. 2 spews. Yeah, sounds like something else to me. All right, I got a bunch of cool knives. Let me show you some of the cool stuff that has uh, uh, been sent to me. All right, so this next one, this is from Michael Jarvis of Auxiliary Manufacturing, and he's got on December 8th, he's got these beautiful pocket buoys dropping. Pocket buoys dropping. Really cool little knives here. You can already see before I unsheath it how bowie that is with that coffin shaped handle. Classic buoy coffin shaped handle there. I do love it. And then layer G10 on this one. He's got carbon fiber. He's got different varieties of G10. He does a Tsukamaki, a Japanese wrap. So very talented guy. If you can't remember, my auxiliary manufacturing knife is this beautiful dagger, 3-inch dagger pocket rocket with that incredible handle. I love this knife, and what a great carry. So this he sent out to a number of folks such as myself to show off because these are dropping on December 8th. I will have a video with much more information, but hang on, let me open this up. Okay. So this model, this beautiful little recurve hellion here, super sharp. Okay, AEBL, that's 3/16 of an inch AEBL at 61.5 HRC. You can get it in black. Oh, you can get it in G10 carbon fiber or cord wrap. Overall length is 6.25 inches, 6 1/4. By the way, this yeah, the handle, I was just gonna say, Captain Mook, this handle is so comfortable, so sweet, and you can have it in this sort of, um, what do you call it? Saber grip, or you can come up on that swedge. It's a full-length swedge, but it's not too sharp. Punch the like, says Mark. That's right, punch the like. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Blade length 3 inches and comes with the patches and stickers and the sheath and these very nice sort of discrete carry concepts esque clips that work great. And this is a chunk, and I could also see this very effectively in this grip and this grip. You know, if you're carrying this, this is your EDC. What a great little EDC that makes. But if you needed to press that into more, you know, dire matters, you could go to town with that recurve and that super pointy point, but also yet reinforced with almost the full width of the blade up there. So really, really nicely done. Um, Auxiliary manufacturing does immaculate work. Pete Davidson says, now that the weather has cooled down, it's time to do some work at the farm. That sounds nice. Out comes the SOG Tiger Shark. What? Victorinox Huntsman, Spyderco Endura, and the Leatherman Charge TTI. I have a Huntsman here. I've had this knife a long time, and this one went with me to Deutschland. But that sounds really nice working on the farm, but with a SOG Tiger Shark, huh? That's pretty cool. Really like this knife, says Grim Reaper. Yes, me too. What a great little fixie, and definitely a great pocket carry. You could take this clip and fasten it up even higher and have almost the whole knife buried in your pocket. Oops. Which would be really cool. the only thing I miss on a knife that small, I feel the same way about this on this 310 310 Forge mini scalper is a lanyard tube, just so that you could put a cool lanyard on a knife like this. It would look really cool. I also believe it would look cool on something like this, but it would also help you draw it from the depths of your pocket. Northern Knife says, Bob, what is that watch? This is a Seiko. Here, let me take it off so you can. This is a Seiko 5 field watch. This is a made in Japan version of this. I did research before I bought this. Always love their divers watches and field watches, and everything I read was saying that the ones made in Japan had better movement, and this one keeps very good time. I have another Seiko 5 that I think is Chinese made, does not keep as accurate a time, but listen to this. It's an automatic and it's loud. You can hear that thing in there spinning around. But I don't care. Doesn't bother me one bit. And I have the James Bond band on there, because, you know, Pete Davidson says it's a Taiwan tiger shark. For serious ones is stay in the. Oh, nice. The serious one stays in the display. Got you. Never got a tiger shark. I looked at them a million times, but back in those days, I either didn't have the money or B wasn't, yeah, I just didn't have the money. I would have had them all. Meant to say Seki made, says Pete Davidson. So, all right, please go check out Auxiliary Manufacturing. Maybe this pocket buoy is not your thing. Maybe you like a dagger. Maybe you like a Picard style knife. Maybe you like a utility sax style knife. He's got such cool knives. Also, maybe you like a really high-end chef's knife, which I know he's veering away from, but I do believe he still has some of those that he has there. So check out Michael Jarvis's work. I'm going to do a close-up on this beauty this week, because I believe I got to send this back to him. Parting is such sweet sorrow. You know how that is. Okay. As we come in, all right. I got more to show. More knives came in. Let's see what's next. We'll give the buoys a break, and we'll go to. I got a couple of knives from Off Grid. The first one, this is going to please a lot of people. A lot of people were very much into this knife, myself included. This is the Stinger. Stinger came out last year. It was on a lot of people's great knives of the year list. Big 4-inch blade, bayonet ground, just wicked. Even with that relatively short grind, this thing is still a wicked slicer. Great card border, if you will. Very comfortable. This knife was a kind of a bellwether to where the company was headed, which is a more contoured, kinder, gentler, friendlier off-grid knives. And then recently they sent me these two knives, which this thing is awesome. This is the Rapid Fire with the blade from the not the damn, what's it called? People tell me. And then this is the Rapid Fire with the Stinger blade. I carried this one yesterday. There are only a few assisted open knives I like, and they're all made by Off Grid or ZT. And this thing hits so hard. But they've been coming out with a lot of new knives. Let me put these away. I was talking about the Stinger there. This is the Viper 2 blade on there. Okay, so they came out with this. This is what you've all been waiting for. The EDC version of the Stinger. It's got a 3-inch blade. It is diminutive. It's not even a little step down. It's a radical step down. And it's a great little full hand filling contoured G10. Really, it's heavily chamfered, but it makes it feel contoured. Fully flat ground this time, slightly less daggery. more of a drop point, more of a drop utility point. And oh my gosh, what a great knife. This one is OEM'd by Off Grid's Taiwan OEM. I'm not sure who that is, but they get stuff made by Best Tech and by Taiwan. And this is Taiwan. Really, really like this little EDC. I could see my wife liking this, or anyone. I mean, not just my wife. I like it, but I could see her going for that. For her, this would be a little bit on the big side. For me, it's a little bit on the small side. But I sense a really cool double carry, even though that's totally against my rules. I could do it because the grind is different, and it would be like, you know, it would be like a special holiday sort of thing. But I like how full it maintains a full thickness. Off Grid is very good about miniaturizing its designs. The baby Rhino, for instance, still maintains that super thick width, and it makes it very easy to hold in hand. Not super thick width, but full size width. And here you've got the jimping all the way up the blade, so my fully extended thumb has jimping to bite into. So very cool knives right there. Pedro Armstrong says, I missed the pocket jack. Hey, Pedro, good to have you. I think so. Kershaw Link, Los Muertos Hank, key bar with Mini 2. So Kershaw Link, what a great knife. Did you get the drop point or the Tonto? I had the link. The link. Yeah, that came in a Tonto, right? Craig Vincent says, I had a couple of Tucson chef's knives arrive this week. I'm not into chef's knives, but they are absolute laser beams. Yeah, that's what you want. Super, super thin. That's what I've been experiencing with Steve Kalari's custom knives. Both of them, even when they're dull, they slice amazingly. Nomadic Adventure says BT Knife and Tool Karambit. Which one is that? BT Knife and Tool. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Slice a finger off playing spiny trick. Yikes. All right. Speaking of slicing a finger off, well, terrible segue, but check this out. Oh my God. So this was also sent to me by Off Grid Knives. This is the Razorback XXL. Okay. You know, the Razorback started as an EDC. Remember this little guy? And then they went all large and put out a 4-inch version. This is a great, both great knives. Well, they just came out with a big, badass fixed blade version, and man, it is awesome. It is awesome, and it is so sharp. Okay, I never do this. This never happens to me, I swear. But look at this. Now, you might not really be able to tell, but I mean, it is so ridiculously sharp. You do not feel the paper resisting at all. So he sent me Kerry Orifice of Off Grid Knives sent me 3 of them. Let me show you the other. These are the models. These are the colorways, if you will. So that's the Coyote that you see down there. This is the Stonewash. Dramatic, of course, because you can see all the details because the Stonewash is light. And then for your night ops, right? You know what I'm saying? Beautiful knives. I love this Bowie shape. It is so extreme. Talk about a swashbuckler. It's almost too much, and yet it's not. But a frightful wound that would make if you were to thrust this into something soft. Of course, it's got that like nearly diamond shaped cross section tip, and then widens so far out with that clip. I dare say you could probably do a nice back cut with this and gouge something awful with this swedge. Also, you see the jimping run all the way up my medium-sized thumb comes right to the end, and there you go. This thing is awesome. Have a Knife Day says Stinger, thumbs up. Have one myself. That is a great knife, and the Stinger EDC, I think, is gonna make just a great everyday walk around walk around knife for those who don't want some big 5-inch thing. You could really do some work with this, for sure, especially with that flat grind. Holy moly, that, you know what, I love that reaction. Holy moly is right. These knives are sick, and the handle is really great. It's a great, I was worried that it was going to be the Alpha Dog handle, which I don't care for. But this handle is so great. It really matches up a lot with the original folding knife, and really pays it homage. It's very comfortable, and man, does it feel great in hand. Indeed, that is a big boy, and so sharp. You know, it's not terrifically thick, and it's a very broad blade, and then it's saber ground, so it's very, very thin behind the edge, even though it's saber ground. Indiana Jones knife, no kidding, man. Ryan West, I want Off Grid's chef's knife. That thing is wicked, wicked, wicked. We might have one to give away. I know we have a fixed blade from the last batch, so I will check that. I will look into that, and we'll do another random giveaway. But tonight we're already on the books for a random giveaway of this super cool Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk. Artisan has been one of my favorite brands this past year. Actually, CJRB, the most pedestrian of the Artisan umbrella, if you will. The Scoria, yeah, I love the CJRB Scoria, but the one that I really loved this year that came out was the Pyrite, the XL Pyrite. Love those knives. And so yeah, a CJRB just has been killing it. And so I have no doubt that whoever ends up with this Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk will get years of service from this swashbuckling service. D2, super sharp. All right, let me put that aside. I love these knives. I hope oh god, yeah, so we will obviously do a giveaway. I can't hoard all these myself. That would, now I'm on the record. You know, I have these now. I'm on the record as having these, so we will do a giveaway. Dwayne Letterman, nice to have you here, Dwayne. Put that one on top away before I have to buy one. What, you mean this one? This one right here? I do like the coyote. That's the one I always collect. I always end up keeping a coyote. I'm sorry, Jim. Did you have something else up? Look at that. That is so exciting. Those 3 Bowies just sitting there. I'm sorry. That's what comes naturally. That pronunciation. I will try and I'll stick it in there, but it just doesn't sound right. Craig Vincent, I like big knives, Bob. Big, sharp knives. Did you like that? How cleanly that cut through that paper? So cool. So one last thing that Carrie put in the box to me is something that he just designed and had made, and this thing is awesome. It's a what do you call it? A hex driver. So you put your hex bit. This is a T8 right in there. He ships it with a T8, a T10, and a T6, and they go in here, and they're held in with those O-rings, and then this spins freely, which is so nice. So you can do your disassembling and all that. This thing is so cool. I'm very, very psyched he sent this. Now, I know that people really get into their hex drivers, kind of like they do their screwdrivers. But it's really cool to have a nice one. I'm pretty stoked. So thank you to Carrie for sending all this, and I hope you all like those Bowies, because they are, I love them. I think they're so cool. All right, I got one more knife that was given to me today by a friend in the neighborhood, which is so cool. It was unexpected, and I fought hard. I said, no, no, please don't. And then I said, well, I don't want to be rude. So I took it. Jay Demeter says, first of all, Jay, good to have you here with us. The quote unquote knife, the artisan, how long is the blade? It is 4 inches. That is a 4-inch quote unquote knife blade. Um, Pretty sharp. If you like a choil, there's a choil there. I probably wouldn't use it because it's not super generous. Might bite you there. But it does look cool. It kind of looks like or like the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It looks like some sort of a barber's straight razor. Evening, all Mattisfaction. Nice to have you here, sir. Mattisfaction here with us. Evening, all. He says. We are giving this away. I don't know if you saw that before, Mattisfaction. So if you want, hashtag knife in the comments. One and all, hashtag knife, and then it goes into a random number generator picker thing. Craig Vincent says that spinner is a winner, no doubt. It really spins pretty nicely, I gotta say. Like doesn't have to spin that nicely at all, not even close. But I like it. I like that it does. Pete Davidson says, "See you, junkies. Into the bush I go. Thought I might as well check an old steel pup on the belt. Os 8 was a premium steel some time ago, and it's still pretty good now in some circumstances. Well, on a cold steel, no doubt it is, Pete. So enjoy. Have an awesome, awesome time in the bush." So no one really wants this knife. I shouldn't say no one, but really, I mean, you could always sell it. Ever think about selling it? Why not win it? I will send it to you at no cost to yourself, and then you can either sell it or use it. This is actually a pretty useful knife and a pretty good size. Have a Knife Day says, I just got the Cayman XXL today. Yes, sir. I can't wait to see your video on it. Such a cool knife. Jay Demeter says the off-grid fixed blade looks great. Nice size. Yeah, it is. It is the perfect size. Anything bigger might be a little bit too big. It's about a 7-inch blade. Kilkenny, good to have you here, Kilkenny. Love me some choil. Here's a good sharpening choil for sure. That's a great sharpening choil. Gives you lots of life, but definitely don't try and get your finger in there. Dong Bowell, good to have you here, Dong. If you want a Bowie, don't make a stubby, but give it at least a 10-inch blade so it can perform as a Bowie should. Dong or Doug. I'm sorry, Doug. I work with a dong. That's why my eyes are a little bleary. Doug, I like your purist sense. It's like I'm kind of a purist about pizza, even though I'll eat some combinations that I'm ashamed to say taste good, but I'm a purist with pizza, and I like your purism with the Bowie. Yeah, 10 inches and a 1/4 inch thick, and yeah, I'm with you on that. Though I'll take any cool looking clip point knife, and oftentimes I'll just call it a Bowie, even though it's probably not correct. Greg Vincent says, my Camillus Vector is in Os 8. I got a lot of Os 8, tons of cold steel Os 8. I got some SOG Os 8. I've got some, what do you call it? Randall, Rat 1 and 2. Is that the Tomahawk? Yes, indeed. This is the Tomahawk. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the swedge right here too. It's pretty nice. Put that under here for a second. Very nice contouring. You've got weight relief in there. Very thick liners. Pretty cool. We'll use it. Good, man. Well, I hope you win it. You seem to want it. Eugene Krabs says, hopefully someday someone will gift me a G. Gift me a G. Wait. What do you mean a G? Oh, a Gerber paraframe. You want a Gerber paraframe? There are other knives for Gerber paraframe cost that you could be gifted, but maybe you're being sarcastic because you know how I feel about the paraframe, or maybe you're just saying it's not all about you, Bob. Christopher Dilzer, Great channel, Christopher. Thank you, sir, and great to have you here with us. Uh, yeah, I don't know about the paraframe. I despise. I do know about the paraframe. I hate it, but I have a paraframe and I love it because someone who doesn't know anything about knives but knows that I like knives, who's a cool person, who's a friend of my wife's, got that for me a little while ago, and that means a lot. So it's a sentimental liking for the paraframe. Everything else, not so much. Craig Vincent, I'm just outside of New Haven. Oh, pizza heaven, no doubt. Someone say pizza capital of the nation. Yeah, because all of those shipbuilders from the Amalfi Coast came to Connecticut to build ships. Pizza, says Mattisfaction. Yes, yes, I agree. You know, if I so this, I may have gotten this from my dad, or maybe this is something everyone has, but my dad likes to brag about how he can conjure up the flavor of anything and just kind of remember the flavor and just and enjoy it, you know, years hence. And I kind of like I can do that with both of my grandmother's pizzas. And one grandmother made this amazing pizza that she would cook, and it did not have uh mozzarella. It just had a little light dusting of Parmesan. Otherwise, it was kind of like tomato bread with oregano and black pepper, and it would sit on the counter for a couple of days, and we would just eat pieces as we walked by. It was so good. And then my other grandma, it was a different, totally different affair, and she had like chopped tomato. I can remember them both, and they both taste so good right now because I can conjure up any flavor from the past. Mattisfaction, which sword on the wall back there would make the best pizza slicer? I'm gonna say a barong. I'm gonna say, let's see, probably this because you could rock it. The only thing is it has this really sweet handle here, so you would have to do it off the table. But yeah, it would be this. It would be the barong. And then you could go vanquish your foes right after you fuel up on sausage and pepperoni pizza. God, I like that combination, by the way. Who doesn't? Christopher Dilzer says, I'm looking at buying a Spartan Blades K-Bar collaboration. They do some really cool things. I have this one. This is not so much a K-Bar collaboration, but it's one of the knives that they do on the more budget end. This is the Marine Raider Bowie, or Marine Raider dagger, excuse me, with Les George, designed by Les George, but kind of the same manufacturing. So all I'm trying to say is go for it. Sounds awesome. I would also love to have, especially one of the Harzy knives that they're doing right now. James Moore says, Carrie, Clark gun stock. Oh, that sounds cool. Jason Clark, I assume, and then a gun stock handle. That sounds cool. Polished Damacor, rose gold carbo tie, Zerk bolsters, spacers, clip, hidden hardware. Nice. City Light. Oh, by J.P. Martin. That's R.J. Martin's son, who by all accounts has got the talent drip down. Mirror hand rub blade, unidirectional carbon fiber, Mokutai collar, retractable clip blade inlays. Holy mackerel. James Moore takes the cake every time, because these are art pieces almost. No doubt they're incredible knives too, given the makers. But yeah, the closest you're gonna get to art knives here, I think, is his collection, because man, that sounds gorgeous. Cheeto Reyno, good to have you here, Cheeto. What are those bad boys on the table? These are, okay, let's talk about these. These are the off-grid knives, Cayman XXL. The Cayman started as a folding knife series, started with the small one, the EDC. A couple years later, due to popular demand, he came out with Off Grid Knives came out with a 4-inch bladed version, this awesome large Cayman, and then boom, the Cayman XXL, the beautiful D2 buoy shaped knife thing. Super aggressive swedge and clip there, and very thin behind the edge. And I don't know if you saw before, I guess you didn't, but I sliced up some paper. That paper was ruining the day it was born. It just falls away, as they do from off-grid knives. They're so good. uh, they're so sharp all the time, and so thin behind the edge usually. Craig Vincent says, I hated the paraframe even before I became a knife guy. I think people are born with a hate for it. It's genetic and develops even before our immune system. And yet Gerber just keeps pumping them out, man, just pumping them out. They do better. Do better. Gerber. Loyal Group, nice to see you here, Loyal Group. Evening, gents. I'm late to the party. Glad to be here with y'all tonight. Well, we're showing off these magnificent Bowies from Off Grid Knives, the Cayman XXL. Love these things. And also pulling swords off the wall. Love to do that. Nomadic Adventure says the J Bar available at local flea markets for a healthy discount. The J Bar, like that. Oh, it's time. Well, all right. All right. Listen, one and all, we're going to do this knife giveaway pretty much nowish. But anyone who may have just come, all you got to do if you want to win this and have it sent to you for free by me, all you got to do is hashtag knife in the comments, and we'll put it in a random number generator, and we'll see in just moments who will win this knife. Look at that. Very, very nice knife. This was given to us by Dave of This Old Sword Blade Reviews. Dave, thank you so much. James Moore says that's a Mitch Clark gun stock, Clark Handmade Knives. And JP Martin is older than RJ, I'm pretty sure. Interesting. Amazing French maker. Okay, so I'm just pulling stuff out of my colon. Excuse me. Carrie RJ Martin, mother of pearl overkill. Ooh, God, I love RJ Martin. I love his designs. Matisfaction. Imagine if they made a premium paraframe, titanium and 20 CV on ceramic bearings. Would you buy it then? No, I wouldn't. Just out of pure spite. I have no doubt that just because they have those materials, they could put together a good one of those, what you just described. Doug says, Bob, with stainless steel blade now, they are as sharp as the old carbon steel knives. Wait, are they? Wait, which one, Doug? Which ones? With the stainless steel blade now, are they as sharp as the old carbon steel knives? I'm not sure which ones you're talking about. If it's the, I'm not sure. But if it's the, whatchamacallit, the Stockman, the carbon steel is always sharper than, I think, than the true sharp. Craig Vincent says something about the name Gerber, baby food and a crappy knife. Putting it all together, huh? It's like it's like a conspiracy theory. But my dad had a Gerber made in the 70s. It was like sort of the 70s treatment of a 110. This is a 112, but sort of thin and slightly angular, but very cool, very nice knife. My dad kind of ruined it. Trying to sharpen it, he really jacked up the blade. But I always coveted that knife, and that was a good knife, solid and good knife when Gerber was doing good stuff way back in the day, and being made in Portland, Oregon. Now I think they do a couple, but that's about it. All right, let's do this, Jim. Let's do this. Giving away the Tomahawk. Let's see. How many people do we have here? Last count, we had 48 watching and only 20 winning or potentially winning. So let's pull up the list here. Let's see what we got. And in the meantime, I will polish the blade up here on this exquisite piece of cutlery. All right, enter hashtag knife in the chat. live viewers only. I used to work on a live show, and oh man, it's so funny what people do on replays. It was a call-in show. All right, let's do this in 3, 2, and 1. All right, look at this. Who's gonna get it? I mean, this is a pretty cool knife. Who's gonna be, ow, and it might come with blood. Pedro Armstrong. Pedro Armstrong, you are our winner, sir. You are the winner of this awesome Artisan Cutlery Tomahawk, uh, courtesy of Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. I will get this out to you post haste. Thank you so much. I'm really psyched that you got it, Pedro. And I hope that you use it for many, many years in good health. All right. Be sure to send me your mailing address so I can get this out to you. That was good. That was good. I feel good about that. All right. So tell me, one and all, how you guys travel with knives. I'm going to show you some of the things I brought with me, and it was cool to have them. It was nice to be limited in my carry, as I mentioned before. And it made me feel kind of old timey. And I was also reading Slaughterhouse-Five, which is one of my all-time favorite books. And I read it maybe once every 5 to 7 years. I'll read it again. So I've read it a bunch of times, and every time I get something else. You know, it's one of those books. But it also, like, a lot of it takes place during World War II. And wait, where'd I go with it? And so there's an old-timey feel to it. And so I had that with me walking around. Oh, I can just get by with just these simple knives. If you want a premium Gerber paraframe, just look at the Zero Tolerance 0990. Which one is that? Ugh. So they've come up with some dogs. I mean, they've come up with some cool things, but ZT has also created some pretty ugly knives. Pedro Armstrong says, "That's awesome. Thank you. I was just thinking I would probably carry that daily." Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome because it should be carried, and used. I got so many knives here that don't get carried and used. And the thought of sending this along and having it be part of your daily carry is awesome. All right. So I always had this. I always had that watch on me. And then I always had this watch right here. I also always had that on me. Now, again, today I had the old Jack Wolf knives, or the new Jack Wolf knives, not low drag. What is that? Laid back Jack. But so I brought this, the Rough Rider micarta work knife. This knife was a big deal when it came out a couple of years ago, because it was like Rough Rider turning a corner and making a slightly better knife, I guess. But really what it is it's kind of their version of the GEC number 47 Viper. It's got triple fluting on the nickel silver bolsters. It's got 440A steel. It's got some decent micarta. It's got very good fit and finish. Actually, the fit on the back and how it's all hafted is very nice. This was a $15 knife. I'm going to open this in front of the mic. Very good walk and talk on this knife. But I'll be totally honest. The reason I brought this knife is because I thought if I needed a weapon, this one could be used as a weapon. Not that you would want to use a slip joint in any situation as a weapon, but if you went against the spring and used that blade, if you had to, absolutely had to, this could be done. So when I went to the bigger cities, or when I went to Cologne, actually, I had this in my pocket, and very easily retrievable from this slip, and also returnable. This did not get used to street fight. It did get used to cut food, actually, quite a bit of it. And, snacks, and stuff like that, little sandwiches and that kind of thing. So this could just be pulled out of the pocket, and the rest of the mass of this thing would stay in the pocket. Open it up, use it, and then put it back. Mad Hatter, good to have you here, Mad Hatter. Just ordered 3 NAF burrito grands, 2 for myself and 1 for my son. Is that a roll for storage? Northern Knives, what are you sipping on, Bob? I got some Old Forester myself. This is Bullet bourbon. It's kind of my, it's kind of my, just my everyday if I were to have it every day. And I haven't had it in a while. We had this great bourbon that someone gave my wife, and then someone else cracked it open at her birthday party. So we were all felt free to drink it. So it was Angel's Envy, and by all of us I mean me, because I'm the bourbon drinker. But yeah, Angel's Envy, that was nice. But that's like $100 bottle of bourbon, and I don't do that. So here's to your Old Forester. This is my Bullet Frontier whiskey. Sure. Satisfaction. I don't travel with knives when flying. I'll just buy a cheapy Walmart one or mail some to where I'm going and back. Driving, just bring my case. Very nice. I like that. I like that. So since I do check on, usually check through, because I don't want to be somewhere without at least a Swiss Army knife. I usually check bags. Put the knives in my pockets and don't go to airports. Road trips only. Amen. Okay, so also I had this one. You never hear me talk about this or see this one, but this is the Benchmade Proper. And for a good year and a half before I actually started carrying this thing again, this just lived in here in my dresser drawer. And the Proper is still a pretty good knife, even though it's got a weak spring. And I'm sure now they've kind of figured out slip joints. This was first generation, but I still, all in all, I still like it. Still pretty cool. What was that last email? I mean, comment, Jim? I saw something from James Moore. I usually pack my Spyderco Chaparral when I have to check a bag. Legal in lots of places, super slicey, easy to pocket, and not really pricey to replace. Although the version I have is discontinued. Yeah. But that Chaparral, what a beautiful little knife. And I love like the Chaparral and like the Sage. They kind of have a similar layout. I really like those knives. Nomadic Adventures, never go wrong with Jack Wolf. Yeah, I would have brought Jack Wolf, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to risk losing a Jack Wolf knife with my luggage if someone had to go through it, or if something happened and it exploded and all my stuff came out of it. Sometimes zippers fail. I don't know, but I probably should have. Loyal Group, the Rough Rider Reserve stuff looks nice. I have heard that it is, and I've also heard that Rosecraft knives are kind of on a similar par. I'm very much looking forward to getting a couple of Rosecrafts I ordered a little while ago. And by a little while ago, I mean like less than 24 hours. I guess about 24 hours ago. Very much looking forward to finally getting those in hand. They're on sale on their website, and they're also doing seconds, which is cool. Grumpy Grunt, good to have you here, Grumpy Grunt. Good evening, Bob and everyone. He says, well, good evening to you, sir. Christopher Dilzer says, travel by car a lot, so something concealed on my person then whenever else in my bag, typically some sort of paring knife. That's good. That's practical. That's practical and sneaky, and also makes you look innocent, and I'm sure you are, but you know what I mean. Yeah, keeping some sort of industry knife on you, like some sort of work thing, is probably a good way to be gray man about it. Craig Vincent says, I don't travel. I'm like a navigator guild in Dune. I fold space. When you fold space, everything comes to you, so you don't need to worry about how you carry your knives. Craig, I like that. I like that. My wife was watching Dune for the however many time on the airplane. And yes, I have. I like larceny. I have had that. And hang on, hang on. And oh, that movie is really cool. And I never read the books, but she's read the books a billion times. So hey, it was worth it, he says. Candyman, how you doing, man? I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're convalescing well. Uh, Here's to you. And if you don't have any of this, I can bring you some tomorrow. Cheers. Nomadic Adventures, Macallan 25-year edition with box. Yeah, yep. Wait, who was the one who said larceny? I didn't get to greet him. I just jumped. Oh, Daniel Huff. Nice to have you here, Daniel. Yeah, I do like larceny. And I also like I had 18-year Macallan here, and that's not a bottle I buy myself, but my dad bought it when he came to visit as like a bonding thing, and it was awesome. It was delicious, and it went too fast. Matisfaction says, I do carry a Leatherman PS, something or another. It's got no blades, so TSA friendly. It's something at least. I just hate checking bags. Oh, yeah, I hear you. You can do other things though. Pen, you can have the tactical pen, or I like this one. To me, this is even lower profile than a tactical pen, but I believe it will do some of the same. But just a stainless steel Parker Jotter. First of all, I love Parker Jotters. They're classic. They haven't changed the design in a million years. And if you have the ink, I must have some lint in my Parker Jotter. But anyway, if you have the ink extended and your finger on that, I mean, this makes a great punch tool. Temple, throat, whatever, eyes, I guess. For traveling on the plane, I always have it here. Makes me look like my pocket carry, my pocket protector, but that can go in the eye. This thing, I put them separately in my backpack. I just have this with my pencils and stuff in that little pocket up top, and this I just drop in the bottom of the bag like it's been there and forgotten for a long time. As soon as I get on the plane, I do this, put it in my pocket, just have the fob hanging out. I mean, I don't know what it's going to do, but I'd rather have it in my pocket than not, and then have to assemble it or think about it in a moment where I'm like, gee, wouldn't a 2-ounce nut on a small length of cord come in handy right now? So yeah, that's what I do. Northern Knives says, I take a Pelican case. I like this. I take a Pelican case 1400, approximately 14 inches by 12 inches by 6 inches everywhere I travel in the US. I usually pack a pistol, watches, knives, and very old rare flask that I own. I use non-TSA locks. Works every time so far. That's awesome, man. I love that. But let me ask you, smart to bring less expensive knives. That's just me being paranoid, but probably is. But what I was going to say, Northern Knives, is do you check that, or you have to, right? You can't just walk on with that, right? James Moore, or have you figured that out? That's pretty cool. Drove to Lake Arrowhead last weekend. Took my RJ Martin Q36 SS with polished Nichols armor core blade and lots of Zerk. The JP Martin City Light and the ZT0609. Which one is that? Man, that sounds awesome. The 0609, obviously for the hard use. The other stuff for being about town, if you will. Loyal Group says, Angel's Envy gave me hallucinations and nightmares. Ooh, I should go get another bottle. It's aged in port wine barrels, and port wine is known to have some kind of chemical that affects the neurological system. Truth. At Christmas time, my dad likes to bust out port, and he gets Stilton cheese, this stinky British cheese that I love. And we drink port and have Stilton cheese. It's very civilized, but man, it tastes good. 5-door. But what German knives did you buy? Don't be coy, Bob. All right, one German knife. And what a piece of shit. Let me show this to you. We were in Castle, a really charming, cool town with architecture from who knows when. Definitely Renaissance, at least, I guess. 17th century, 18th century, I guess. Really classic looking Germantown. And my daughters and I wandered into a little store that had diving knives in the window, and they urged me to get this, and man, it is terrible. But you know what? It is a souvenir of our time, and it's actually pretty sharp, oddly enough. But it's pretty pretty bad. It's pretty awful. I did see a store in Cologne, a Victorinox store where you could go in and and they would assemble a Victorinox for you custom with your whatever tool set, however many layers thick you wanted. I thought that would be really cool, but that would be antisocial. I was there with other people, so I didn't do that. And I was hoping to see like a Boker store somewhere, because you see pen stores and you see Victorinox stores and watch stores and all. And I was like, maybe a Boker store would, but they're just not into it. They're not into it. Nomadic Adventure says risky carry. This I did not carry. This is they are not allowed to carry locking knives or knives that you can open with one hand. So I did not carry this. I bought it and just I wouldn't carry it anyway. This is just a keepsake. Who knows? Maybe one of my girls at some point. Maybe they fight over it when I kick the bucket. But that's the only one I got there. Which Rosecraft knives did you buy? I got the French Broad, Jack, and everyone's like, oh, it's like French Broad. Like, oh, look at that French Broad. She's hot. I don't think it's that. I think it's the French. I think it's like a French Jack, but it's also, I think it's an adjective, but I can't quite figure. So anyway, I got the French Broad Jack. I got the Kayak, that weird looking one with the downward angled knife, and then I got the little $15 keyring slip joint. I'm really excited to check that out, and all their knives, I gotta say. Byron Kennedy, I hide my NAFs in a false bottom CPAP case lined with foil to foil the X-ray scanner, because what grandpa would be smuggling knives in a CPAP? I love that, man. Byron, that's funny. That's awesome. Bob, do you like Bookers? Oh yeah, I do. Anything Basil Hayden, Bookers, Blanton's, any B bourbon seems to be hard to get, at least where I am. And back in the day, like that's what I drank when I lived in Philly and worked in the restaurant business years ago. Like, yeah, we had all those Basil Hayden all the time. And now it seems like some of these bourbons are hard to get. But yes, I do like Bookers. Um, I'm trying to think of one I don't like, you know. Um, I mean, that's a nice one that I've tried. Like, I even like Tin Cup. That's a friend of mine brought over a bottle of that once, and we were sitting by the fire drinking Tin Cup, kind of like how it was probably intended to be drunk, and it was good. Jay Demeter says, when flying, I feel so naked. As soon as I get back home, a knife is the first thing I grab. Yeah, no kidding. Danny Nosanto, I went to a bunch of different seminars with him, and he would talk about his what he would carry on the plane. He'd have like a big metal ruler. He'd have like a drafting set with pens he could use, and he had a metal ruler that he could use. I mean, he could use anything. He's Danny Nosanto, but it was cool to hear. Improvised weapons. I'm going to a class on Sunday about improvised weapons. Very much looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'm not getting sick. Grumpy Grunt says you should probably expect a full cavity search and complete dismantling of your CPAP the next time you travel, Byron. Yeah, the hills have eyes, sir. The walls, the walls have ears, I guess. All right, before I went, this came the day we went away, so I grabbed it and threw it in my suitcase. And before I did, I opened it up and dug the atrocious edges. So I threw my little Spyderco stone in my bag with me and brought it with me. But this is a beautiful purple bone Case Barlow, and Barlows by Case are hard to find because they haven't made them for years, and then they came out with I think it was last year, or no, 2 years ago. The Barlow was their vault remake. You know how they reach into the vault, and I think last year it was the Whittler, and 2 years ago it was the Barlow. They were making all different kinds of Barlows, and just for a limited time for that year, and then they kind of put them back in the vault. Well, I never got a Barlow from them. I always wanted a case Barlow, never got it, and saw this one and jumped on it. It's beautiful purple bone, sort of a saw cut bone, and that nice polished nickel silver bolster, about 1/3 the length of that full handle. And then look at that beautiful master clip point blade. After I got a nice edge on this, this is a great knife. I cleaned this up, and then I cleaned up this too. Used a pretty rough stone first, and then I finished it with the Spyderco. I haven't been stropping as much lately, just because I'm finding I like a more aggressive edge, and polish and stropping knives, I think for me lately is giving me too much of a polished edge, that I'm not getting that sticky kind of bite that I've been wanting, that I've been craving. So yeah, this was a great one to have. This is they when Case wants to, they can really make very, very nice knives. But it doesn't seem like that's the norm. Doug says, as a retired law enforcement officer and a weapons permit holder, my self-defense knife is the discontinued 1980s SOG Sidewinder 2 folder I carried on duty. Used to cut a man trapped in his vehicle by seatbelt. Sidewinder. Did that have? All right, Doug. Did that one have? Was that like kind of a version of the Wildcat? Did it have metal bolsters, but a grippy, textured handle? I'm trying to remember what the Sidewinder was. SOG made some really sweet knives for a long time, and they're kind of making a comeback for sure. But some of their old stuff was just so cool. Loyal Group says, I don't travel by plane. I'm also a Pelican guy, albeit a 1450 that I keep in my truck. Pistol, extra mags, flashlight, ferro rod, medium, large fixie, etc. for remote farms and ranches. What do you do, Loyal Group? That's really cool. You don't have to answer that, but now I'm imagining you have some sort of job that takes you to remote ranches and farms, and you do whatever your thing is, and you and that's your EDC. That's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, Have a Knife Day says, for work, I am carrying a Leatherman ARC with an expanded toolkit on my belt, a CRKT M21 14 SFG spear point with VEF serrations. You and your VEF serrations. An LED flashlight and some mace. Oh, that's cool. Sir, have just gotten mace for the whole family. I got a 6-pack of something that came recommended by one of my YouTubers, and I don't remember the name of it, but I'm excited that those are going to be stocking stuffers, and we'll go outside with one, and everyone will get a chance to feel what it's like to shoot one off. And yeah, I'm interested in this, expanding my I'd much rather mace someone than stab someone, right? Like that's kind of the goal. Grumpy Grunt says, port and funky cheese is not only a nice way to wind down, it's also the name of my punk wave group. Right on, Grumpy Grunt. I will see you anytime, and I will sit there. I'll be the civilized guy in the back, sipping on his port. Blade Ogre says, nice. I got a French broad. Nice, by the way. It's named after a river. Okay. It's not named after some French broad. It's named after a local river. The French Broad is a local river, says Dwayne Letterman. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I thought I was being a pig about it, and you just confirmed it. Craig Vincent says, I keep a razor sharp edge on my right index fingernail at a at a length of 2.5 inches. I coat it with a hard acrylic. I then tell TSA if they want to disarm me. pull my finger. Works every time. I love it, Craig. I love it. Parody or not, that's pretty good. It's like your cocaine fingernail, but yeah. You remember that back in the 80s when people grew their fingernails out long? Well, there was a time not that long ago where our youngest daughter, somehow we missed this, and her fingernail, her one pinky fingernail, and she was like kind of hiding it from us because she thought it was glamorous to have a long fingernail. But she grew her fingernail, her pinky fingernail out, and she looked like, hey, come on over here. She looked like a little criminal. It's pretty funny. Northern Knives, life pro tip. When checking a bag with knives, face the pommel or tip towards the zipper lid. When the bag is laid flat, the X-ray signature is much smaller. That is funny. I do that intuitively. I'm like, I know how this bag is going to lay down. And so I want to give them the least amount. So they're like, what is that? Is that, that's cool. Also, good to have friends in TSA giving you the tip off. Christopher Dilzer says the trick to carrying paring knives is to use a homemade sheath. Stay away from custom kydex. It looks too tactical. If you get caught, just play dumb and pull out some fruit. Yeah. So tell me, Christopher, have you ever done? I have attempted this, but kind of half-assed, and then didn't try it again. But to do the thing where you put the paring knife in a water bottle, and then you use a lighter, and the water bottle shrinks around it and kind of gives you an instant sheath. I've seen people do that on YouTube, but the one time I sort of half-heartedly tried, it it didn't work out. Maybe I'm explaining why. But anyway, have you ever done that? Have you ever used a water bottle? Or otherwise, I guess you could just use some stout cardboard and some gaffer's tape, or something like that. I've done that before with my X-Acto knives. I always lose the cover to my X-Acto knives, so I'm always making homemade sheaths for them. Mark Ridgewell, check out Regiment Blades. Pretty sweet self-defense knife. Oh, is that the one with the hole in it? It's set up like a pistol. It's got a pistol grip and a sort of a dagger blade, but a hole kind of in the middle that your finger goes through. Pedro, Bob, I DM'd you on Instagram. Does that work, or would you rather me email you? That works fine. That works fine. And what I will just do, and not to be antisocial and get on my phone, but I will just make sure that yeah. Okay. I'll just make sure that I have it. And yep. Okay. Yep. All good. Pedro Armstrong. Gotcha. Accepted. All right, cool. I just had to do that now because, you know, uh, social media. Mark Ridgewell, denial is a river too. Yes, it is a river I'm very familiar with. That and the river justification. I'm pretty familiar with that too. Hey, have a nice day. Says Mace gives you another threat level of response. You can also say, I'll make you spicy when you use it. Yes. Come up with some sort of Schwarzeneggerian one-liner. You should lay off the spice, or something like that. Grumpy Grunt, say it with an over-the-top Italian accent too. Yes, exactly. You should lay off the spice. Yeah. I can't do the over-the-top Italian. Okay, so Case Barlow, let me show you the next one. Now, this one I may have shown briefly, but I cleaned this old knife up and gave it, never had an edges, and I gave it edges. It's an Uncle Henry, and you can see it's got the carbon steel back springs, which is pretty cool. Love how they darken. And then it's all pocket worn, and it's got a fake stag. I think you might call this Stagalon. And then a cool sort of crest. I'm not sure what that's even supposed to be, but Uncle Henry. And this thing, I'll do this in front of the mic. This thing has great walk and talk. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a very nice pull. It's got a long, slender California clip, or almost a skinning blade. And by skinning blade, I mean folding skinning blade, which looks nothing like a hunter's skinning blade. So, I mean, as far as I can tell. But so it's got that nice long California clip. I got it really sharp, or that's a Turkish clip. Yeah, it's like wickedly, wickedly sharp, sticky. I like that. And then same thing with the very nice sheep's foot, and then a very nice spay blade for scalpel like stuff. Really, really nice knife. So this one I had on me too. Usually I carried multiple knives, but this one I've been carrying that a bunch lately. So I'm pretty psyched about that. And then I had 3 Victorinoxes. Now someone out there was saying they had a Victorinox Huntsman. Is this a Huntsman? Someone tell me true. Is this a Huntsman? I think it is, and I'll pull out all of its tools here. He said tool. So this is, it's got the large blade, the small blade, the bottle opener and wire thing, the screwdriver, and then it's got the can opener. It's got a pair of scissors, and then I do believe this one has, yes, it has a saw. So what the hell is this? And then it's got a Phillips head screwdriver, which throws me off. You know, the wood saw and then the Phillips head screwdriver. Like, is this the carpenter? And then it's got a an awl and a hook. Let's see if I can get this out without cutting myself. No, the awl and the hook seem to be jammed in there. I think I need to clean it up. But what is this? Is this a Huntsman? I think so. I've had it for so long. I love it. To me, it's like Swiss Army knives, almost not worth having without the scissors, with some rare exceptions. Yes, that's the Huntsman, says Loyal Group. I like this. I like this one a lot. And listen here, man. Such great action on these Victorinox knives, especially in my case, this one, the Pioneer X in A-locks. So nice. This one has such a great blade and great action. And the X on this refers to the scissors. I just clipped my nails. That was a mistake. All right. Well, there are scissors in there. And then here's the most useful tool on this thing, that punch knife or punch blade or awl. On my very first knife that I carried all the time, or I shouldn't say I carried it. I used it all the time when I was just messing around as a kid, but it was a camp knife that my grandpa gave me, and it had a punch blade or awl, and I used that thing all the time. And now that I'm older, I still find myself using that punch blade to start, pilot holes or whatever it is. And then the last one here is the Recruit. I love the Recruit. It is really, this is just like the classic. Oh no, it's not. I take that back. But yeah, this has most of the classic tools of a classic camp knife, except this one has 2 cutting blades. And then it has the tweezers and the toothpick. This one has been to Bolivia twice. This is what I carried. This was my EDC in Bolivia twice. This has also been to the Dominican Republic twice, and now Germany and Jamaica. It's been to Jamaica. This one has gone everywhere. Not everywhere, obviously, but all the trips I've been on with the girls and stuff over the past few years, this one has been with me. And it just having them out makes me want to get more Swiss Army knives. I really like them, actually. This one has great action, great snap to it. I don't know. I've been sort of overlooking them for years, and then when you actually need a knife, they're very, very handy. They got all that extra stuff. So yeah. Anyone else like the punch blade? Anyone else like the Pioneer X or the A-locks? And why have they not figured out how to include the toothpick and the tweezers in the A-locks? It seems like technology we should have at this point. Loyal Group says, I like the hiker. However, it's my humble opinion the Huntsman has everything you need and nothing you don't. I might agree with you on that, but what's the hook for? Is that really for carrying groceries, like you sometimes see it portrayed? Uh, I'm not sure about the hook, but pretty much everything else, including this one has a great awl, but also including the full size Phillips. That's pretty awesome. Ket McNussart says, I think it might be a Fieldmaster. A Huntsman has a corkscrew, not a Phillips. Huh. A Fieldmaster. Kind of like me, Fieldmaster. Grim Reaper says, I have never owned a Swiss Army knife. Not sure why not. Wait, not sure why not. So that means you're sure why not. But if you mean you're not sure why, go get one, man. Just go get one. I'm so sorry for this. And you know what? You know what's a good gateway Swiss Army knife? Get an A-Lox. Get a Pioneer or a Cadet. Get a Cadet. I used to have a great Cadet and I lost it, and I need to get one again because I really like that little knife. But the Cadet is a little 4-tool knife, and it's got the A-Lox, which is aluminum oxide, I guess. It's got the aluminum handle, and it comes in a variety of colors. You don't have to just stick with the raw aluminum color. Craig Vincent says, I don't have a single Victorinox, but a friend of mine works for them and can get any knife for 50% off. Costs several times a year. Any thoughts on which one I should start with? Well, Craig, why not go for, okay. I was going to say, why not go for anything in the aluminum? I really like the aluminum, but some of the biggest utility you might find on the on the Victorinox is the toothpick, which, by the way, you can get new ones, packs of 5 on Amazon, so you don't have to worry about grossness. Like one of my or the tweezers. The tweezers are so good and so handy. My brother gave me a Swiss Army knife, a big one, that I keep in my bag, and yeah, I had to get new toothpicks, used toothpicks. Well, even if he is my brother. Northern Knives, every knife guy should own at least one Vicky. I agree. Just out of, well, yeah, moral imperative. It's the original multi-tool, great glove box folder. Yeah, exactly. Or great throw in the backpack and always have it. Bob, I like to put a rough, this is Doug saying, Bob, I like to put a rough, sharp edge on my knives that need touch up by using the edge of my car window. Ooh, that's nice. I have a couple of special mugs at work. You know how you can turn over a mug or a bowl, and the fine ceramic footing is also a great way to touch up a knife. And I have one at work that is it's my sharpening cup for sure. Mug. Loyal Group says Ketmuk is absolutely correct. It's a Fieldmaster, mea culpa. I I hope you are flogging yourself for that. No, I appreciate that. It is a field, because I'm the one who said, "Oh, is this a Huntsman?" A Fieldmaster. So how am I going to remember that? Fieldmaster. Maybe if I say it 3 times, but I doubt that. So what is this conversation yielded? For me, it's like, I think I need another Swiss Army knife. I think I want the Cadet back. Jim has, he's got a K-bar. He's got some really cool folding knives, but he's always back to the Swiss Army knife. I think he carries the Tinker, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jim? And man, that thing comes out, it's like that is a true EDC. And Tinker's a great knife. Craig says, did I mention I like big knives, Bob? Do they make any Bowies? Who? I see what you're saying. Do these guys make any Bowies? Because it's too small to be a Bowie. I gotcha. Well, this will do until the bigger one gets here. Am I right? Christopher says, what sort of sharpening setup do you use? So I use a Sharp Master, and I've got the diamond stone to the super fine stone. So that's 4 sets, but I've recently not been doing the fourth, the super fine. And then I do stropping, but I got to tell you, lately, where is it? That's upstairs in the kitchen. Lately, I've been doing it all on this Spyderco stone that I think one side is 1,000 grit and one side is 600 or something like that. It's a thin stone. It's about 5 inches long. My brother got it for me 10 years ago, and I've just been able to put for a long time. I was a obsessive stropper, and I kind of took the toothiness away from every one of my knives. They're all super sharp, but so I started using the stone, and I've gotten really good at sharpening with it. So it's a single stone that I've been using lately. And just so you know, Christopher, I'm not sharpening them. I'm honing them. I'm not using my knives and dulling them out. It's just not my lifestyle and not my job requirement. So, but I've seen people who do, and we all know people like Jared Neve, who sharpens knives, and he uses a progressive set of stones. And actually, he's got a great video that he put out maybe 2 months ago or a month ago called Best Cheap Starter Stones. Basically, he's got a lot of good tutorial videos and stuff. That's at Neve's Knives. Loyal Group says, if I remember correctly, the hook is called a parcel hook because they use it to wrap boxes in twine. Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. I thought you were going to say they use them to carry boxes with twine, which is just a little precious. Brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. People, you know what I'm saying. That doesn't happen too much anymore, unfortunately, because I also like brown paper packages tied up with string. Daniel Huff says, I carry the Swiss Army Adventurer every day. Now, is the Adventurer the one with the contoured handle? They also have the big aluminum single-bladed single hand open folder that was featured in Matt Damon's Mars movie, which looks really cool. Craig Vincent says Victorinox. Did I mention I like big knives? Oh, do they make Bowies? Okay, thank you. No, but Victorinox, they make they make some kitchen knives that you could turn into Bowies. But I like their kitchen knives for the tactical, like the little ones. And actually, I recently lost one of my little Victorinox fruit knives. So I got to see if I still have that somewhere. If I lost it, I'd hate it to be in someone else's hands because it's a nasty little implement. Yeah. So all right. Since I've been on the huge slip joint kick, I've been rediscovering some of my Jack Wolves, and this one I had yesterday. I was carrying this one around, and this is the Feel Good Jack, the doctor's knife. This thing is just awesome, and the reason I picked this one up is because I thought I was going to be using it on my younger daughter's white-tailed deer diorama project for school. I ended up using an X-Acto knife because I'm not a glutton for punishment. This is a great knife for all that, but I was doing precision cutting out shapes of deer and antlers and stuff, and I just couldn't quite get close enough to the tip with this. But I did put it in my pocket with that intention, and man, this is such a great knife. And I'm thinking you might still be able to get this in some places. I have noticed that, now that Ben Belkin and Jack Wolf Knives has been able to up their capacity, make more knives available. Such incredible walk and talk. Jeez. That they don't just sell out immediately and leave everyone out in the cold. So dealers now have different models on hand, not just a couple of remnants of the latest model, but some different ones. So you might be able to find this one, but it is exquisite. I'm going to do this again right here. Just got incredible action. So I've been, into these cases. You know, I love the Stockman. I'd love it for Jack Wolf Knives to make a Stockman, as I mentioned, but the walk and talk, the action on these, you know, kind of lackluster. And then I pick up something like this, and it's just, I mean, you can even see it does that Wile E. Coyote stop or Roadrunner stop. It's so strong. And then this thing that these guys like to do. So you can actually see it spring out without any influence from your hands. It's not just to look cool, though it does look cool. It's to show you the spring tension. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good, Bob. Very good. Okay, so as Jim mentions here, December is going to be a good one. December Knife Junkie giveaway will be on the 21st. I'm not sure what it will be yet. And we will also be doing the giveaway of this Northern Knives provided most amazing ProTech Malibu 20 CV blade steel, reverse Tonto, which always sounds dirty to me. I don't care how many times I say reverse Tonto. I'm like, not only is it less accurate than it could be in terms of a descriptor for a blade shape, but it also just kind of sounds dirty, right? Reverse. Let's be real about it. But anyway, the reverse Tonto, very nice button lock. My God, so crisp and refreshing. And then no stick with the lock when you press that in. All of my other button locks have a little bit of stick. I don't mind it if it keeps the thing locked open. I guess I got to say I'm kind of all for it. But you do have to check that out. So I will be putting a close-up video of this with my thoughts on the knife itself, and then we will announce a date when we will give this away. We haven't given away a ProTech, I don't think, ever. So I'm very excited to get that out into the hands of someone, you know, who's not me, unfortunately. But that's how we have to do it here, right? So nice. All right. So this is what I carried, and it was it's what got me through. I didn't need it. I didn't need knives for anything but for cutting food on the rare occasion. And they came in handy, but it's peace of mind, right? You want to have peace of mind. You want to know that you are ready. You know that? That's just the spring bar just rattling around in there. But you want to be ready for anything. And usually a knife gets you part of the way there. So there you go. I did see one guy we went to the Lind Chocolate Museum in Cologne, which was awesome. If you like chocolate, I'm a bit of a chocolate whore. I love chocolate. We went there, and there was a guy. I saw a pocket clip, and it was not like our eyes met across a crowded room pocket clip. It was a it was something, the real long shiny pocket clips that you see on knives, gas station knives, or not to sound like a snob, or older Home Depot knives. That's the kind of clip it was. And I wanted to say to the guy, he was obviously American, and I wanted to say to him, look, man, it's not worth getting pinched and being thrown into a German prison over a knife like that. If you're going to do it, pull out your Gerber paraframe or something nice, Loyal Group says, Bob, thanks a bunch. You just ruined reverse Tontos for me. You're welcome, sir. I will never, ever get off of this hobby horse. We could call this so many other things, like a bellied Warncliffe, or Warncliffe with a belly, something like that. But you enjoy your reverse Tonto tonight, sir, and I will enjoy my reverse Tonto. It's not mine. I'm just using it, just borrowing it for now. That's how we do it here, and then I'll pass it along to one of y'all. That'll be fun. All right. Well, I think that just about is going to do it. I will let you all know when I get. Oh, wait. Sorry, one last thing. I brought this up and then I never showed it. My friend Jaime gave me this. I freaking love this thing. I've been okay. So this is a guy who's a friend of ours in the neighborhood. And one day he was just kind of got bit by the knife bug. After kind of like not being that into it, something really caught his interest, and he got a couple of Sen cuts and a couple of Civivis. And this one was too big and broad for him. This is the Fantera. And so he just gave this to me tonight when I went over to grab something from his house. And not only was I touched by the gift and like really, really psyched, but I love this knife. And I've been wanting to check it out ever since it came out because people were comparing it to the Praxis. And here it is next to the Praxis, and it kind of dwarfs it. You know, the Praxis is not a small knife. And here you go with that giant broad blade. So this I'm really looking forward to carrying. That's 9CR18 MOV blade steel, nice sharpening choil, exquisite action. I love the wood handle. So I'm really, really psyched and grateful to my friend for giving me this. And I'm like, ooh, this is a nice thing. Like, now, is this what we're gonna do? We're gonna give each other knives back and forth, because I gave him the Watuaga, the Sen cut Watuga, and he really liked that. And I think that's what started his interest. But I am so psyched to have this and see how that big, thin, broad, wickedly sharp leaf-shaped blade performs. So very, very psyched about that. All right, everybody, that does it for this channel. Or for not for this channel, but for this evening's broadcast. Not that it's a broadcast, but you know what I'm saying. Is that the Civivi Bull Tusk? Ah, the Fantera. Looks like the Praxis on roids. Yeah, seriously, it's a great middle finger flipper too, this guy. The Musso design Bowie was used in the 2014 Alamo movie by Jason Patrick, believed to be the knife Bowie carried at the Alamo, but not Bowie's first knife. Right. Here's before we get out of here, let me show you the one Musso Bowie I have or Musso style Bowie is the Natchez by Cold Steel. And a Musso Bowie has that sort of upswept kind of blade, kind of a curve on the spine, long clip. In this case, sharpened to a zero edge, which is pretty wicked. And you got that long, tapering, thin blade for thrusting and back cutting and all your knife fighting needs. And then here you got the coffin shaped handle, which you can see in the Michael Jarvis Auxiliary Manufacturing knife I was showing off before. The Mini Bowie, don't forget, Mini Bowie dropping on the 8th of December and ready to ship for Christmas. He's got a bunch of them made up and psyched to get those out. Beautiful little knife. So be sure you check that out. Also, be sure to check out our interview on Sia Loyal Group. Be sure to check out Sunday's interview with Jay Nielsen of Forged in Fire and Shelly Jack. It's a great interview, and they're awesome people. So we had a lot of fun. So be sure to join us there. Good night, Byron. Have a good one, man. Thanks for being here, and I will get your Tucson out the door to you tomorrow. Grumpy Grunt, have a great one, man. Take care. Thanks for the coming and the commenting. Chris, thanks for the show. Bob and Jim, he says, night all, and have a great weekend. Great weekend to you, sir. Northern Knives, Night Junkies, Night Northern Knives, and thanks again for this awesome reverse Tonto. Craig Vincent, Night Bob, take some friggin' Andrographis, or I'll take it for you. All right, right on. I think that'll probably make me feel better. Andrographis. All righty. Thank you for coming. Thanks for joining us. Daniel, take care, man. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.